Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This will be episode 2 of this 1996 GTI restoration. In the previous video we removed our pump and some hoses, got some of the exhaust out. It was already pretty much undone from the previous owner, and we're piling everything into some storage tote to keep track of it. In this video we will continue going on. Hopefully we will get the engine out. We've got to deal with some gas and oil in the tanks, of course. We have to undo our cables at the throttle, throttle cable and the choke cable at the carbs. We've got to undo some mounts and undo some electrical stuff in the starter. So let's dive into that. As you can see here, we've got our ground to get undone. Pretty sure we need a 13 millimeter for that. And we have a positive for our starter, which will be a 10 mil. And then we have our carbs here. We've got to undo our cables. Oil pump cable here. And the choke and throttle cable. We have our gas lines to undo. And then our messy oil lines. We do have some oil in the tank still, so we'll pinch off those lines. Looks like the previous owner already did this one, because we have a rusty vice grip in here on this one, on the oil injection. But as you can see, we got our drive shaft out the last time. We're still going to take out our water box. We'll get to that too. But let's get some of this electrical unhooked from the engine. I need my 10 millimeter right here. And we will get this. There is no battery in, so we don't have to worry about sparks. And it's the black starter. I'm curious to know if this is a cheap SPT or Chinese one off of Amazon or eBay, or if it's actually a Denso. Who knows? We'll grab our 13 for that. This Milwaukee 90-degree wrench comes in handy. We'll get this removed. Just stick that back on there for now. Now I do want to try to pump out some of this oil. I have to find my oil pump kit for that. But for now we will get our gas lines and stuff unhooked from the carbs. Still could not find my other side cutters. I think they're underneath the engine here. We'll pop open this Otico clamp here. Get that away. Now this is the return line. Here we go. Down here is the feed line. We'll get that one done once we unbolt the carbs. And I put aluminum foil in here because I didn't have the seat on. I didn't want anything more water getting into the carbs. Don't really care about the engine. It's already kind of done. But let's get, this is our vacuum pulse line. We want to make sure we save this vacuum line because it's kind of molded and to a specific angle and hard to replace. I've seen some of them with a 90-degree plastic fitting in there. These are always a pain. Just like that. Give her some wiggle and get her off. Once we get the, we'll have to, like I said, we want to save this line. We'll deal with that, getting that clamp off in there once we get the carbs and engine out, maybe. So next we want to take off these carb bolts here. We want to get those. I'll get the tools for that. And we got a hose clamp here for the return line on the oil for the rotary valve in the engine. We've got oil in that, of course. And as you can see, we have the original oil lines down here for the injection. You can see that white, they're painted. And they're brittle. Probably about ready to break. I don't know why this engine failed, but we're not spinning. Looks like we're locked up. Maybe it lost a bearing or something on the side, but we can't spin it. We got 4 engine mount bolts there to get off, undone. We'll disconnect. We will disconnect our stator right here. Okay, so our electrical should be pretty much disconnected from the engine. We've got the harness up there and all the gauges to disconnect, but we're free from the engine now. So let's get a few more things undone here. Let's get this intake off. Okay, so I've got my 5mm Allen wrench adapter. Get these So that's off, and we take that off so we can get to the carb bolts, the 4 carb bolts right here. I'm gonna crack those loose. They're normally pretty tight. We will rebuild these carbs. We'll use genuine OEM bikini parts from OSA Marine. Now, a lot of places, when they're parting them out or taking stuff off, they'll cut the cable, they'll cut the choke cable, which bugs the hell out of me, because you're wasting a good cable, destroying a good cable. Never do that. And a lot of places, a lot of people, they struggle with it because they don't know how to get the cable off. They don't know how to get them off because it takes a small, there is Allen wrench key right there. You need an Allen wrench to get those little things off right there. Loosen those up and that choke shaft will slide right out. So I will grab my Allen wrench set and we'll get that done. So we have a little Allen wrench, and it is a 2.0 2mm wrench. What you need for this: crack it free. Now that can come right out. I will need to grab a 10mm wrenches to get this, get these nuts off of these cables, and we will be good to go. Okay, so I got my two 10mm wrenches here, and we will crack these cables free. Just like that. We'll take this rear nut all the way off. And it drops the nut. There we go. Someone has previously replaced the nut. That's not the stock nut. It works though. So choke cable's off. Now let's get this throttle cable off. This is where I wish I had a camera person and more lighting. Always put your nuts and washers back onto that shaft, that threaded shaft. Undo our barrel from the carb plate. There we go. Okay, so that's 2 of the 3 cables done. Next is our oil pump cable. Now this one is taking the basic oil pump cable. There's 2 style oil pump cables, and this is the newer style, which is nice, unlike some of the 95s. The 95s have the double barrels, which I discussed in a previous video. We'll get this. Okay, so we want to keep our nuts and lock washers on the thread, just like that. Now all that's left is this front, the feed gas line. And we'll undo I really do not like these Otico clamps. Because I have so many carbs, and there's a slight difference between the 787 and the 800 carbs, I will make sure I label these, mark on them that these are for the 720, the GTI. And these will get rebuilt. I may have to replace this collar. Looks like it's a little, as you can see, there's a big gap. There shouldn't be the gap. Maybe I can press that back in. I do not know. May have to replace this piece. Okay. Now let's get this oil pump cable off. I'll get down here and show you guys this. Our oil pump cable. We got our barrel right here, and we have a nut right there to undo. It's hard to do this with one hand. Trying to find where the slot is. Okay. Why isn't it? Okay. Why am I not feeling the slot where it comes out? There we go. Right there, got that out. Now we'll just need to get the nut off of that, which is our 10 mil, of course. Crack that free. There we go. Pull the cable out. Cable looks to be in good condition. We're not coming off the ferrule there at all. So we should be able to reuse this cable. I'm going to get the nut back on the shaft here. There we go. We'll throw that in our bin of parts. So our choke and throttle cable here can stay here for now. So we've got lots of work left to do here. Let's go ahead and crack our engine bolts free. We'll get those, get another extension and get those off. Okay, so we got our double extension with a 13 millimeter. And we're going to crack these free. Now this one, as you can see, has a different engine mount. So at some time, this engine was replaced. Most of the 720s, the older ones, had the bed plate underneath it. So the engine bolted the bed plate, and then that bed plate bolted here. This one's got the newer updated mounts here, which is nice, but it's a special case. And our new one won't have that. Our rebuilt engine will use the old style bed plate. So we'll be switching back to the original bed plate instead of this style. So we'll get these bolts out of here. And when we get the engine back, we'll stick these bolts back into those holes so we don't lose these. So we don't lose these bolts. I'm going to drop that washer in there. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now our engine is free. We just got to deal with our oil hoses and we'll pump out the oil. So let me go grab my pump and get a jug. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this return line right here. And I'm going to hook up my pump to it. And we're going to pump out what we can out of the engine. Then we'll do the same here for the oil injection line and pump out what we can of the engine and the tank. The tank is pretty low, so shouldn't be too hard to do. We got a little milk jug here for oil. We'll cut this line right here. Find my side cutter and cut this zip tie that's holding this line down. So now we have this line here. Hopefully this pump will work. We're going to stick this line in there like that. Let's see if she starts pumping. I think I may need to get my other pump. I have two of these. Okay, let's see if we can get our other pump. Okay, so I got my other pump right here. This is the good one I used last time because I kept some of the oil line. We'll disconnect that. Hooking this perfectly right in there. Yeah, now we're getting some soap. So let's get rid of this bad pump. We got our milk jug right here. And I'll set this in there so any oil will just stay in the hole for now. If I spill any. And you can hear it suction, you can see it out of the hose here. You can see it when I pump it. You can see it moving. So we'll get this pumped out. This works great too for changing out your oil if you're switching oil types, so you don't mix oils. You can pump it right out of the engine and the tank like this. I'm going to switch over to my 1/4 inch socket for that hose clamp. This hose clamp loose. Drain the oil back. You will make a mess. This hose is garbage. So next we want to try to see if there's a hose clamp. Yeah, there's a hose clamp down here for the injection and the rotary. They're down there, they're hidden. So we shouldn't have much oil left in there. We're going to cut these zip ties so we have better access to these hoses. Just like that. I'm going to take this, try to take this stupid channel lock off. This vice grip. We're going to cut this line right here. Now, see this line here? We're going to hook up this hose to it. Got this big hose here, go slip right over it. Just down like that. Now our pump hose can stick into that. Now good to pump out what's left in that injection line from the tank. Got that. Now we'll do the other hose. So now we're on the line for the oil injection down here. We'll suck out of that. Pump that out. She's pretty dry. Okay. We got about, wasn't much oil in there. Probably a quarter of a gallon. Okay. Get these pumps out of the way. We'll connect this back so we don't leak any out. And we are ready to pull that engine out. Okay, our engine is out. We've got an oily mess. There are my side cutters. I knew they slipped under. We want to save these shims. I'm going to throw these in there for now. Grab some rags. Okay. Engine is out. And this is that for the starter. So we got to take that exhaust out. We'll get that taken out. We'll get the oil and gas tank out. I'm not sure how much, there's still gas in there. So we'll get that removed.
Hi, this is Amanda for GC Extreme. Thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.